Hi, we're back with part 2, ASD What Needs to Be Heard with Rachel Gomez. This is Roya, and we have John here with us. So, back to our questions. I wanted to ask, what are the common misconceptions about autism?
Yeah, so I think a lot of times people may think that autism may be a result of like bad parenting. Many times when you see these individuals, you may see some of them demonstrating like behaviors and they might not want to listen to instructions and sometimes very easily people will just, it's poor parenting. The child is just not listening to the parent because the parents are just giving the child whatever that they want. So, but it's not true. Actually, even with like a parent really following proper parenting, like the child can still demonstrate, because like I said, one of the symptoms is insistence on sameness, wanting things to be a particular way. So sometimes that comes in the way and they can react when things don't go their way lah. All right. Another misconception is that people with autism are aggressive. Not every individual with autism demonstrates these challenging behaviors. First of all, why they engage in such behaviors, most of the time is because they may not have the words to communicate what they really feel or what they really want. And some of them may use these behaviors to communicate their frustration or communicate that they're not happy with something. But not every of our kids are like that. This is based on my experience. I work with very many kids that do not show any aggressive behaviors at all. They are such very, very loving kids and very nice to work with. Another misconception or another myth that people have about autism is that people with autism don't show affection. They may be cold, and because they have all these challenges with social interaction, right? But that's not true. Usually, most of the time with their parents especially, they're very affectionate, maybe sometimes too affectionate as well. So that's not true as well. Another misconception is that people with autism, they're not able to learn. And that's not true. Like I said earlier, we have some of our individuals that we work with are able to, they actually excel in their classes. Like they are, maybe if you do an IQ test for them, they are on the superior range. They're really, really smart individuals, and they probably ahead of their classmates sometimes. And they may be able to learn very, very well. But yeah, some of the kids, they may struggle learning like on the same pace with their typical peers. So when you want to teach them a particular skill, you have to break it down for them. Some kids, when it comes to more abstract concepts like positions, like prepositions, or example like prepositions like on top, under, it's you can't touch on top, you can't touch under, right? You have to know that on top of a table means on top and under a table means under, right? So some concepts like that can be a bit more challenging for some individual because it's just too abstract for them to understand. So what we try to do, it's like we try to simplify and make it very, very functional for them. Another one is that autism is caused by vaccine. I think years ago, like there were like misconceptions that is caused by certain vaccines, the MMR vaccines. But actually, research has actually just thrown off those myths, I would say. It is definitely not caused by vaccine. In fact, the causes of autism up to date is not known. There are links to like genetic and environmental factors, but it's still not known until now. It's no one real cause of why like a child with autism gets autism. But what we've seen over the years is that because over the years what we've been getting is that we have like younger and younger kids coming in for diagnosis. So like a lot of parents are bringing, I think they are recognizing the symptoms earlier on, and they're bringing their kids in like maybe 2-3 years old, which is very young and great. And what we're noticing a little bit more is that many of these kids may have too much of screen time from a very young age. So what our hypothesis is that because they're engaging on the screens for like too much, they're not engaging in the social environment that they need to actually. So that's how, because we learn by picking up things from the environment. So they may not just be spending time. So that's why sometimes they come in for diagnosis actually they just need to. They don't have autism. They just need to go and interact.
Just rip the iPad away from them.
They just need to be weaned off iPad and or like reduce screen time.
Right.
And some families actually they see an improvement when they start limiting screen time.
Okay.
So there's some, I guess links to too much of screen time which has, I guess, cropped up just over the last few years. Before this, we don't really have like the tablets and all, right? So those are just some of the misconceptions that people have about individuals with autism lah.
It's very interesting. I also want to ask, have you ever heard of Stephen Wiltshire, if I'm pronouncing it right?
Yeah, I think he's like one of the savants that is able to make maps from just looking at a place.
Yes, so he went on a helicopter ride around New York and then able to paint.
Yes. So he's actually one of the someone with autism, maybe on a very high functioning autism that has like these special abilities lah. So we do have some of our individuals who have these like special abilities. For example, we have one of the guys at one of the kids that we work with. He's able to name every capital of any country that you ask him.
Okay.
Wow.
So you ask him any capital, he can tell you.
That's a good memory.
We have another individual who can paint really well, and he actually sells like his artwork. People from overseas actually buy his artwork.
Wow. Okay.
With that same individual, he has actually gone for like open sea swimming competition.
Wow.
So like swimming 2 to 3 kilometers in an open sea.
Wow.
So we have individuals like that, but this kind of what we call like savants, like those who may have these special abilities, it's actually only like 1 in 10.
Okay.
Like 10% of the population, autism population.
Right.
So it's not every child. Actually, many of our kids that we work with are not able to they don't have these
On the extreme
extraordinary like abilities lah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's the common misconception is that people think that people say autistic people are very gifted and very extraordinary in these cases, but it's not all of them lah. Like you say, 1 in 10 cases.
Yeah, not entirely true lah. But yeah, like I said, like some of these individuals, they have very specific interests, and then they get really good in that
because they are very focused on their interests.
Yeah. So I had a kid once before that loves birds, and he knows all the scientific names of birds, and he's very high functioning. So when we're having a conversation, he's still talking to me about birds, and I'm like, I cannot understand anything because I don't know what all these names, and but he can go really into it and very interested in that kind of topics lah.
In a way, isn't that also kind of like they are performing ABA on themselves? Because they are positively reinforced by subject matter, they are so motivated to go through it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, somewhat that would kind of like
in a way lah.
Yeah, in a way.
Also, because when we watched that video, there was something interesting that I still remember. Like the caretaker for this Steven, she said that as his social skills improved, like his sort of giftedness also decreased over time. Is there anything you observe similar to that?
Not really.
Okay.
I don't think there's any like specific like correlational. Like,
I think it's more of a practice.
Yeah.
So since you don't practice it enough, you start to lose it. It's like instruments.
Yeah. So like a skill that maybe the child is like really good at, but if he's not maintained, then similar like you get rusty in a particular
habits,
skill. Like when you don't practice guitar like for a long time, you also get a bit rusty.
Definitely.
You kind of lose it. So it's kind of like the same concept, I would say.
Discovery Channel light to me then. Because when you said, I was like, oh, interesting. So I think we're going to take it back a bit more local now on what Malaysians can do when they encounter autistic individuals. Because a lot of them, like you said, there are misconceptions.
Yeah.
And that would also affect them with how they communicate with them.
Yeah, I would say the first thing is really educating themselves and being more aware of like what autism is. I know that the awareness and acceptance of autism in Malaysia is still it has improved over the years, but it's still very low.
Sort of taboo also, right?
Still, yeah. Maybe in the cities like KL, like the one that we live in, it's better because information is easily more accessible. But like those in like the more rural areas, then a lot of them, they don't know what autism is, and sometimes they're only coming, like when the child is like in their late primary age already, and it's a bit too, it's harder than to like work with all these individuals lah. So I would say like, you know, autism awareness will be very important, because then understanding what it really is and how different each individual can be, I think that will be important. A lot of times as well. So something that what EAP does is actually we go to schools and actually do this kind of like kindness starts with me campaign.
Okay.
Really, because in the school, I guess that individual autism, because of the differences in how they behave, isolation may happen lah. Bullying may happen. They're more prone to bullying, isolation, and all those kind of things. So, I think really helping, like I say for adults, helping their children also understand that, hey, you know, your peers may be a bit different from you, and you know how to still treat others nicely is important. I would say also the other thing like that is important is if you see like, you know, a family struggling in the public area because their child may not be responding well, they may be engaging in a tantrum or a meltdown, is to, I guess, not what you call it, judge them.
Pass judgment now.
Yeah, pass judgment upon them. But at the same time, you know, ask if they need any help, because sometimes it's not easy trying to handle on your own. If you say the parents there on their own and they have a few kids that they're trying to manage, it's not easy, and the child can become quite aggressive sometimes. So really knowing this to like, you may not know what to do, but just asking if you need any help, that helps lah. I would say like there, like in public spaces, like some malls in Malaysia have like improved in terms of like, you know, creating like calming corners and
nice environments,
sensory like rooms. One is like Sunway Putra Mall. They actually created like a whole sensory room, and they even have like I think every Wednesday is like Autism Awareness Day or something like that. So kids with autism, they can go, they get access to certain things for free. That helps a lot, because being in a less noisy environment and all like kind of helps some of our kids. So that would really help as well lah. Yeah.
Is there like a resource you would say for the general public that could refer to just to know how to communicate and handle people with autism?
I mean, EAP, we actually have a lot of resources like that. We have lots of infographics like the one that I'm holding here. Infographics to educate themselves on autism, and online as well. We have lots of video resources, and also infographics online as well. So usually I would say in the month of autism, which is April, different organizations would usually do a little bit more lah to promote awareness and acceptance of autism. So I guess supporting these different organizations during that month would really help. So for example, like in AAP, we usually try to come up with like, our hope is to make a video viral lah, like a video like on autism awareness. So like for example, like last year we did a video on like anti-bullying, with showcasing one of our kids who actually encountered bullying situations, and that helps lah. If the public also helps to spread awareness by sharing this kind of content, then more people are reached lah. Now I would say like the internet is a powerful tool. Social media especially. So like also I guess supporting, even though you may not have anyone linked to like someone with autism, but like just promoting the awareness, I think that really helps.
I think that lastly ties into how can Malaysians or society itself, like if they understand autism and they want to help, where would you point them towards? Like how could they help, you know?
I would say like I think first of all like finding these kind of like contents that promotes autism awareness and like helping to share this kind of content. So usually in the month of April, you would see every organization that works with children with autism will try to do something. I mean EAP does a lot of things as well during that month. So supporting those initiatives really helps lah. Then I think the other one is actually participating as well in some of these different talks and all that just helps to educate themselves. The other one, like So for example, like the Hope Project, we actually have like different campaigns running to raise funds to do different things.
Okay.
So in the past, actually, we raised enough funds to be able to give a scholarship to a child for 1 year of therapy. Then we also have raised enough funds to make like the video series that is put up on a free online resource platform.
Right.
So I guess, contributing through the purchase of our merchandise and or just donating money can help as well in the initiatives to create awareness and make the services more accessible to more people yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Rachel Gomez from Early Autism Project. We'll be sure to link everything and even the resources you have.
Yep.
I think it's very handy to raise awareness for people. So I'm Jonathan and this is Roya and we are signing out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.